What's up everybody, once again my name is Matt and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In the last episode, we finished off all the remaining shrines here in the TABANTHA region. So yes, it's finally time to say goodbye to Rito Village. We probably won't be back here for some time, but I did enjoy every second that we spent here. That being said, I'm excited because we are going to explore an entirely new region of Hyrule and hopefully take on like 3 or 4 more shrines. I marked one of them on the map already. The other ones we'll mark as we go just because, you know, we haven't actually activated the Sheikah Tower for this region, so it's kind of hard to like place pins on the map where shrines are supposed to be when you actually have no reference to place those pins with. So, yeah. Instead, we'll just mark those after we like activate the Sheikah Tower. But before we even do that, let's head over to Rito's stable, grab Epona, and then we'll be on our way. We probably won't use her all that much, but for the small traveling that we can use Epona for, it should make it just a little bit quicker. Hey, Cass is over here. I really don't think there's any point to talking to him though, so we're not gonna bother doing that. Like, normally, if Cass is just found out in the open, you know, in the overworld, you might want to talk to him because he might give you a shrine quest, but when he's by stables, he'll usually just sing you the song about, like, the backstory of the game. I don't believe that changes, so, yeah, really no reason to talk to him again, since, when we first got introduced to that character, that is the song that he sang for us. And as much as I love Cass's singing voice, I really don't need to hear the same thing twice. Okay, so yeah, you should notice that the red pin on our map is actually really close to Rito's stable, which is why I was actually able to sort of mark where that shrine is located. So really shouldn't take us long to get there. And hey, Revali's Gale is back in business. That is good, because here's the thing with, like, this shrine, right? We're sort of on top of a mountain right now, and, the shrine, well, it's kind of located deep within this chasm, so if we want to get back up here, well, Revali's Gale will definitely come in handy to say the least. For now, though, let's just try and carefully make our way all the way to the very bottom of this chasm, because, yeah, the shrine is right down here, hidden, like, next to all these rocks. So, now that we're here, well, let's activate this bad boy and see what's inside. I don't recall this shrine being too hard. Most of the shrines that we're going to be taking on in this video are all relatively easy, so not really too worried about that. There's only one of them that is like one of those walk in, grab the chest and leave shrines though, and it's kind of weird too because getting to that shrine is not particularly difficult, so it's kind of just a free shrine. The only hard part is what's surrounding it. Anyways, this is build and release, so it's kind of like a shrine that relies heavily on stasis. What you want to do here for this first puzzle is just wait until this thing spins around, and I froze it a little too soon there. Oh man. But yeah, you kind of want to make it so it's perfectly flat. That way, the boulders from the right side will roll across it and hit the switch, and cool, I got it stuck. Yeah, the timing on this thing is a little bit funky, so I'm actually going to let it rotate a couple more times just to see what happens. I think only like one side of the flat platform actually has the grooves on it. I'm sure you could probably use both, but I do like using the side with the grooves. Unfortunately, you pretty much always have to do it twice. Like, I've never actually gotten this thing to activate with just one freeze. It's always 2 or 3, but that should hopefully do it. Yeah, there we go. I don't think there's any other way to do that puzzle because the boulders only get sent out like one at a time, meaning that even if you freeze them, there's no way to like build up momentum, so that's sort of just how I do it. Now, this entire shrine is basically just that in a nutshell, using stasis to freeze things and then build up momentum using like blunt objects and stuff like that. So, to get this chest over here, we have to do something kind of annoying. Let me grab the sledgehammer, and we're going to use stasis on this barrel. Now, there's a bunch of blocks directly in front of me that we can easily just, like, push out of the way using these barrels. Problem is, it's going to take a couple of barrels to do it, because, I mean, they're stone blocks. They're not exactly going to fall over like dominoes here. the game will give you infinite of these barrels, so that's not really the hard part. The hard part is just like, you know, placing them down, using stasis, building up momentum, all that jazz. It does take quite a few barrels to knock over these blocks and like reveal the switch behind it. Also, I'm not very good at like aiming my barrels, as you can probably tell. Thankfully, really? Alright, actually that kind of worked out for the better. Maybe I can get a barrel around those left blocks there. Probably not, but I'm gonna see if I can anyways, just because if I can, it'll save me a little bit of time. The problem is, like I said, aiming these things is not easy, although that actually might just work. I really hope it does. Come on. Aw, man. Okay, so maybe this next barrel will work. If not, at least I know within the next 2 or 3 barrels we should be able to hit the switch. Like I said, guys, it takes a couple of barrels to do this. Hopefully, our sledgehammer does not break. One strategy you can do to like aim is by switching into first person and looking with your Sheikah slate. If you do that, generally speaking, Link will like always hit the barrel in that direction. So, please work, please work. Oh my gosh, really? It hit the freaking blocks. Alright, fine. One last barrel. This one better freaking work, man. I'm gonna put it like right next to the edge here and try and aim here with my Sheikah slate. And this better freaking work, like I swear. This one doesn't... Oh no, that actually seems like it might be off a little bit. I really hope that actually hits it. You know what, that actually might work. Come on. Yes! Thank you! Okay, what's inside this chest? I actually don't remember. It better be something good, I swear. For the amount of time that took, we're gonna get ourselves a falcon bow. Are you serious? That bow is not even that good! Oh my gosh, dude. Alright, fine. Whatever. I think... Yeah, there's like another chest we can get over here. So, thankfully this one's super easy. All I have to do is freeze this in place and, whack it a couple of times. That should pretty much be all we need to do. So, goodbye. And sure enough, that unlocks the gate. So, can this one please be something good? Like, anything, man. Come on, a Thunder Blade. We have like 5 of those, man. And I don't even have room for it, so you know what? I'm not even going to bother making room for it. I really don't even care at this point. I'm actually kind of mad. Not gonna lie, man. Not gonna lie. Alright, so none of those chests were really worth the time it took to actually get them. So what do you say we just finish this shrine off? Place this barrel here. And of course, we're going to freeze it in place like we did before. And then, all we have to do is hit this thing forward and hopefully build up enough power to knock over that giant, like, stone block thing right there. And please work. Alright, thank goodness, because, kind of only had, like, one shot at that since my sledgehammer broke. I mean, I could have used, like, another weapon. It just wouldn't have been as efficient. I am kind of upset that I did break my sledgehammer, though. But, I can probably find, like, another one of those somewhere else along the way anyways. They're pretty common items. Like, you can find them at stables and other areas like that. So, really not too worried. Okay, so that is our first shrine down. Not too bad. Hopefully we can do, like, 3 more. That'd be great. But we'll see. We'll see how much, we have time for. The problem is now getting back to the top of this mountain area. I mean, I could quick travel to, like, Rito Village and then just walk back to Epona, but, I don't know, man, I kind of don't want to do that. I feel like either way it's going to take about the same amount of time no matter what I do, so I think I'll just try and, like, climb up and then use Revali's Gale if I can. That seems to be, like, the smartest method, at least from my perspective. I mean, we have like more stamina now, so we should be able to climb a reasonable distance, I would hope. And then, Revali's Gale can sort of make up the difference, I think. So, let's just get to climbing, I guess. If I can make it to like the top of this first area, that should be high enough to use Revali's Gale to get like more than halfway up there. And, oh no, I better make it. Oh no, crap, I thought I could stand up there. That did not seem as steep as it was, apparently. Dude, I make that mistake a lot, actually. Whenever I'm climbing, like, cliff sides, I always, like, think they're not as steep as they actually are. Because, to be fair, sometimes Link will just stand on some relatively steep angles and be perfectly fine, restore his stamina, and... Alright, no, I guess that was kind of, that looks a lot steeper from this angle than it did, like, on the side. Holy crud. But, yeah, climbing's one of those things where you really can't blame me for trying. Like, sure, it doesn't happen that often, but, when Link does stand perfectly fine on those steep angles, it sort of, like, reinforces the all-or-nothing mentality in your brain, because if I'm running low on stamina, and I think maybe I can use that very last bit to jump to an area that I might be able to stand on, even if it's like a 1% chance, I'm gonna take it every single time, because it's basically all or nothing. Like, what do I have to lose at that point? Because if I run out of stamina, I'm still gonna end up falling down the mountain anyways, so, I mean, might as well risk it, right? Anyways, this seems like a good place to use Revali's Gale, so come on. That is not nearly as high as I was hoping it was going to take us. Okay, this might be an issue because, yeah, there is, like, no area where I can even hope to recover my stamina, so I'm just going to try and climb up as high as I possibly can. I have a couple of food items that can restore stamina, so we should be fine anyways. I just kind of hope that maybe, like, over the crest of this next peak, there's an area that I can sort of recover my stamina on. So come on, Link. You can do it, man. I believe in you. Should I even bother jumping here? Screw it. Let's just go for it. Come on. No, I thought for maybe a second I was going to be fine. Okay, let's eat that. That's a full restore to our stamina. Should be good. And Link, please grab onto the mountain. Holy crud, can you be a little bit quicker on that grab next time, buddy? Jeez, man. This is our life now, guys. We're just gonna free climb the entire way up the side of this cliff because that's exactly what the hero of Hyrule should be doing right now. You know, it's kind of interesting because, like, the way the plot in this game works is, hey, go to Ganon's castle, you know, save Princess Zelda. And you can do that right from the start. Like, the game doesn't restrict you at all, like maybe some other open world games might, because they do have sort of linear story elements, if you will. They give you, like, the option to choose what you want to do, but also there is sort of a set progression in the story that you need to follow. And I think it's very interesting how Breath of the Wild sort of gets around that by allowing you to go directly to Ganon, but also because you as the player have the choice not to do that, it sort of fixes that problem of, like, alright, well, I should probably do this as quickly as I can because, you know, it's the plot of the game. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, it's sort of up to the player to choose how quickly they want to go to Ganon's castle or not. And all the stuff you do in between doesn't feel like you're just ignoring the main quest. It feels like you're preparing and training for that main quest. So it's interesting how a small change like that sort of fixed one of the biggest, like, story problems that a lot of open world games have. So I don't know, it's interesting how they came up with that from a game design point, and I think there are some benefits to it, but also some— oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's not even raining. Look at the weather meter. It's sunny right now. What is happening? Alright, whatever. The rain's gone. I'm fine. But, yeah, like, it does have its benefits, certainly, but there's also a couple of downsides to that. And I think one of the biggest downsides to how this game functions is that, the story does end up taking a backseat to the adventure, which isn't a bad thing, I would say, but there are certain expectations to a Zelda's story, I think, that a lot of players have whenever they, you know, pop in a brand new Zelda game. And even if the story is cliche or whatever, there's usually a lot of lore or other world-building elements in there that you can find. And certainly Breath of the Wild has some of those, but not to the extent of, like, other Zelda games. So I think the best way to summarize Breath of the Wild is by saying you'll appreciate the journey of getting to the conclusion more than the actual conclusion itself. At least that's how I sort of felt when I finished the game, because, you know, I saw all the major story cutscenes, all the major plot points, and at the end of it all, I was just sort of not as fulfilled as maybe I was when playing another Zelda game, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself along the way getting to that point, and it was the most fun I had playing a Zelda game. So it's one of those weird things where the gameplay is obviously what is driving you to continue playing this game. Those story bits are there as just a nice extra bonus, but I wouldn't say that they're the main draw of the game. Anyways, we finally made it to the Sheikah Tower for this region, so we got some climbing to do, boys. Let's get started. And yeah, this tower obviously is surrounded by some ice, so I probably should have mentioned this, but you might want to bring some fire arrows with you. You can also use like a campfire and a torch, or even like a flame sword. But yeah, the easiest way to get rid of like these giant ice blocks is just by shooting them with a good old fire arrow, because it does melt them pretty quickly. And as soon as like you melt one enough to sneak in between them, you should be good though. No reason to waste the rest of your fire arrows or melt the rest of those ice blocks. So let's actually do this real quick. Let's equip this and put on our fire shield. That way we can sort of make up for the extra heat loss, if you will. So yeah, the sword will keep us nice and warm, and then we get the extra benefit of having, you know, faster climbing speed and less stamina being consumed as we climb this tower. So that's kind of nice, I guess. But yeah, those only work to a certain extent. Like, don't only rely on fire-based weapons to keep you warm when you're in like a really freezing environment like this, because it really won't do the trick. Also, you should have definitely bought the cold resistant armor that was in Rito Village before coming here, because you're definitely gonna want it, trust me. Like, the cold protection that you get from the warm doublet is not going to be enough. You're gonna need something else on top of that to keep Link warm here. Alright, so we're basically at the top of this tower. We probably will be coming back here quite a bit too, just because there are two shrines that are kind of nearby, and the best way to get to them is by, like, jumping off this tower. So, without further ado, let's activate it. Sheikah Tower activated. Scanning area. Oh yeah, that's a big one, guys. Look at that. Regional map extracted. And that's basically like the entire top left corner of the map now. So we have a good part of the map filled out, not gonna lie. Like, look at this, man. Let me actually remove this pin real quick, and I think the next shrine that I want to go to is right about here. So we'll place the pin there, and, well, let's just get going then, shall we? Because there's a lot to do in this region. Like, you saw how large it was. There's a bunch of shrines here, so yeah, we might just spend like an episode or two clearing out all these shrines, because other than the shrines, there's really not a whole lot to do in here. And if I'm being totally honest, because it's like such a cold and wintry environment, I don't want to like come back here if I don't absolutely have to. So we'll probably just like clear out everything now, leave this area, and only come back when I go and collect the Korok seeds, or if I need to travel through here again, because yeah, not exactly an area I think I want to come back to at all if I can avoid it. So the first shrine is right up over here. This one is sort of the free shrine, if you will. The only problem is it's surrounded by water, so because we're in such a cold environment, that water will hurt us no matter what. Like, you can put on and eat as many cold protection items as you want, the water will still cause you to take damage. And also, I should probably go from the other side because it's a little bit closer to the shrine, so let me do that instead. if you want to know what, like, the official guide says on how to get to the shrine, it says literally just make a break for it and eat as much as you can while you're swimming in the water to restore your hearts, because you will lose about 2 to 2.5 hearts like a second if you're in the water. So I think the best way to go about it is, oh no, that's not good. I was gonna say the best way to go about it is by, like, climbing along the ledge there, but apparently if you climb too steep, you'll just, like, fall off. Thankfully, we made it through, but it was not without taking a bunch of damage there. Like I said, though, the shrine is free, so we will just get, like, all of our hearts back as soon as we complete it, but yeah, there's definitely safer ways to make it to that shrine. Alternatively, what you can do is actually chop down a tree further upstream, push it into the river, and then ride that stream from, like, up the river down towards the shrine, but that just, like, takes way longer. So honestly, I would recommend either trying to scale the wall like I was, or just going through the water like the guide suggests. Anyways, for our trouble, we do get a gold rupee, so that's not too bad. I will take that. So hello, Mr. Sheikah monk. Restore my hearts, please, cause this shrine, kinda crap. Not gonna lie, man. Pretty stupid, but whatever. Not really sure how this, like, proves my worth as a hero, cause anyone who can swim in cold water could have beaten this shrine, but whatever, man. Whatever. Alright, so now that we're done with this, I'm actually gonna return back to the tower because, well, for one, I really don't want to swim through that freezing cold water again, and two, it should make getting to the next shrine just a tad easier, because although it is very close to where we are currently, getting to it might be a little bit harder from here. So yeah, it makes sense to go back to the tower and just glide there. So, you know what I was thinking about the other day? How the paraglider is such a huge, like, item in this game, how important it is. You need it from everything from getting off the Great Plateau to getting down from Sheikah towers, covering longer distances. You use it a lot, and it's such a vital item in this game, right? Well, not too long ago, it wasn't actually a paraglider, it was a sailcloth. Like, remember back in the early Game Awards footage for this game that they showed back in, I want to say that was 2014 or 2015 maybe? But, like, it was the very first gameplay that they showed, you know, with Miyamoto and Aonuma next to that TV at the Game Awards. And, back then, Link did not have a paraglider. It was a sailcloth, like, very similar to the one in Skyward Sword. So it's kind of interesting how the game evolved in just those short years, and how we got, like, a completely different item that probably functions exactly the same as what the original sailcloth was. And I highly doubt, like, them changing that had really any recourse on the plot of the game, because at this point we know that this game basically takes place at the end of the child timeline, for better or for worse. So having the sailcloth would kind of make sense, but also not really make sense. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, the shrine that we're going to is actually down over there. Problem is, you actually want to go to the top of this mountain first, because you may notice there are several, like, different, I guess you could say, slopes to this mountain. But all the way at the top, we're gonna need to get something, and it might not seem like you'll need it, but yeah, these snowballs are pretty dang important. So what I like to do is kick these snowballs around a little bit so they build up and become a little bit bigger before I, like, do anything major with them. Also, why? Oh my gosh, they're melting! I just realized I have my flame sword on! Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Actually, let me make sure I put on my warm tunic again. There you go, Link. Now we can actually start, like, building them up and making them a little bit bigger. Good thing I noticed that, because I kind of melted all, like, the other snowballs, and now I only got 3 shots at this, but hopefully I can do it with just the one. So yeah, roll this until, like, it gets big, then you can pick it up, and now I want to bring it down to a very specific slope. I think it's probably this one. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna take it down to, like, the second slope. and then throw it from there. Because I know at that point it should automatically go to where I want it to go to. So, yeah, I think this will work. If I toss it here, it should just roll down the mountain, build up snow along the way, and at the very base of the mountain, there are 2 doors that basically we need this snowball to ram into. That way we'll knock it down and allow us access to the shrine. So, check it out. Just like that, it worked! And now we can go and take on this shrine. Yeah, it's a pretty obscure puzzle. Like, you can't use magnesis or anything else on those doors. It has to be a snowball. Kinda strange, but also very, very cool. So, now that that is out of the way, let's see what secrets this shrine has in store for us. Let's do it, man. I'm excited. This one is actually a pretty cool shrine. It's funny, too, because... Alright, so this shrine actually took a little bit of thought, and, if you didn't, like, realize you could use snowballs, you probably wouldn't know how to access it. So, out of, like, all the shrines, you would expect this one to be just the free walk-in and walk-out shrines, right? Well, it's not. So this is the Tandem Shrine. I mean, all things considered, this really isn't a hard shrine. All you have to do is shoot stuff, so... yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Just, using these giant boulders to hit switches by cutting ropes. It's not that hard. We'll start over here by just shooting this rope. That way we can activate this switch. And I think this will lead us to, like, the chest inside this shrine, so... let's see what it is. It better be something good. Also, how did that arrow end up there? I have no idea, but whatever, I'll take it. Hey, a diamond! Alright. It's Link's best friend, baby. I will gladly take those. We've actually found quite a few of those, already in the game, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyways, final puzzle. Really simple. Use stasis on this thing, then just, like, cut both the ropes before stasis wears off. And, yeah, that's basically it. Congratulations, you did it. You beat the Tandem Shrine. That's really all there is to it. Fantastic. So, yeah, like I said, really not too hard of a shrine, but still cool nonetheless. Now that we're done, though, we're gonna grab our Spirit Orb and be on our way. Funnily enough, we're actually gonna go back to Hebra Tower again, just because, that's where Epona is, and, well, we need to ride Epona to, like, the next shrine and the next area that I want to go to, since it is kind of far away, and, the road in this, region leads us directly there, so, yeah, I did say we would be heading back to Hebra Tower a lot, didn't I? Which is kind of why I wanted to activate it first. And, like, this is the only time where I really noticed the loading screens in this game, like... entering and exiting shrines, yeah, sure, it loads once each time, and it's really not that big of a deal, but, when you combine, like, those loading screens and then the loading screens you get when you fast travel, you sort of do begin to sort of see them for what they are, and they do kind of take a while. Like, it's weird, honestly, because you wouldn't expect them to take that long to load, since, you know, the game is on a cart, which... generally speaking, should load way faster than any disc ever could, but, I guess that just means there is so much the game is actually loading. It does just take a while. Not really a whole lot you could do to sort of fix that, I guess. Alright, so, let's just hop down, grab Epona, and be on our way. You know what, actually, it's been quite a while since we've had to deal with the Blood Moon. That's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because that means, like, various different things haven't respawned, but it's a good thing because various different things haven't respawned. But still, I would like one to happen soon, just because, honestly, I like when the Blood Moons happen before you enter, like, a new area or go and take on a Divine Beast, because that would mean you're essentially safe, so to speak. Like, I've seen this happen before. Someone's fighting a really tough enemy, or they're fighting a boss, and then all of a sudden a Blood Moon will take place, and then that boss or that enemy will regain all of its HP, and the fight will start over from the very beginning. So, yeah, I kinda hope we get a Blood Moon before we enter the next Divine Beast, just so I don't need to worry about that happening. Anyways, though, here's where I wanted to get to. This is the Snowfield Stable. Yes, and just like any other stable, there is a shrine nearby, so let's pop inside real quick, see what this baby has to offer, and then we'll go from there. But, what is this, like our 4th shrine for this video? So not too bad, man, not too bad. We actually made a pretty big dent in all the shrines here. Like, the other ones are kind of far away towards, like, almost the edge of the map in, like, every direction. So there's going to be a lot of traveling to those shrines in the future. But, you know, getting these 4 done, not a bad thing, man. Not a bad thing at all. So let's see what we got going inside this one, shall we? Oh, actually, I remember this one. This one's not too tough. It's actually pretty straightforward. Here's the thing, though. There is sort of a hidden, quote-unquote, chest in this shrine, if you will. I'm not going to bother getting it because, if I remember correctly, it's something incredibly disappointing, and, I really don't care for it because in order to get the chest, you basically have to solve the entire shrine, like, 2 or 3 times rather than just, like, the 1 time required to get to the altar. So, yeah, it makes way more sense just to do it once and get it over and done with and then not really worry about it. But, what you want to do is move these 2 metallic blocks in front of those 2 fans on the central pedestal, then grab ourselves this orb, bring it all the way to the top of this slope, and once we're up here, we can just toss it down, and the wind will actually bring this thing to the pedestal where it will, like, activate this platform. Now, if you do want to get the chest in this shrine, run down quickly and grab one of those metallic blocks after the ball rolls past it, and bring it with you on, like, this elevator platform, because once it goes to the top, you can actually use that metallic block to bridge the gap that's directly in front of me, then jump over and get that chest. I'm not going to bother doing that just because I really do not care what is inside that chest, like, at all. I know for a fact it's nothing amazing because if it was, I would have remembered, you know, what it is. But, yeah, if you want to get it, go for it. Otherwise, I don't really care. I mean, we've come to realize by now that all of the chests in this game, you don't really need to get them because none of them really contain unique items, so to speak. You can usually always get the items that's inside those chests somewhere else in the game, so not even a huge loss if you don't pick it up. That being said, though, we did make it to the stable and complete 4 shrines in this video, so that is pretty dang good. And I think that's actually a good place to end things off. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.